I'm gonna win.
We'll clean up.
I always win.
Oh,
You're all going down. I'm gonna win.
Ida's here. Hi, sweetie.
Hi,
Hi, Aunt Mabel. Hi, Annie. Hi, Ashley.
Look who's here.
Yeah, I see them. Hi, Grandma and Grandpa.
Hi.
Oh.
Look who made time for us.
Hi, Dad. How's Boston?
It's okay, Princess. But I wish I were home with you and your mother.
Oh, soon, love.
So sorry Uncle Felix is late.
My son is here.
Bro, why do we have to call you Uncle Felix?
Don't question it, honey. He's not my son by blood, but by love.
Can anyone hear me?
Dad, no, now you're on mute. Hit the little, no, it's not a touch screen. Just click the microphone.
This piece of junk out the window.
Grandma, we can hear you. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Now that we're all settled, can we get started, everyone?
Whose night is it again?
It's my night, and we're doing trivia.
Oh, I hate trivia.
Come on, Ida. It'll be fun. We can be on the same team.
Okay. Fine.
Let's get started. Here are the categories. Name that poorly described movie. Food from around the world. Sports. Just sports. Oh, where did I park my car? And Gilbert and Sullivan. Annabelle, you pick first.
Wait, what's Gilbert and Sullivan?
What?
Dude!
I know. Is this a child of ours?
What is? Who are Gilbert and Sullivan?
Okay, who are they? Why is there an entire section about them? That's not fair. I'm not going to get any of the questions right.
Oh, honey, you really have no idea. We have to teach her.
Mabel, D major chord, please.
Did you all rehearse this?
Forget trivia night. Listen here. We are going to take you through the lives of Gilbert and Sullivan, musical wizards, satirical geniuses, political commentators, collaborators, and friends, with lots of drama. And even though they lived a century ago, their work is just as fresh and enchanting today.
No, thank you. Just go play your game. I'm gonna go watch Hamilton again.
Well, I want to hear the story.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear it too.
All right, where to begin? November 18th, 1836. William Schwenk Gilbert
Schwank.
was born in an upscale area of London. The Gilberts were a very rich family and lived a life of luxury, so much so that people often took notice, and not always the good kind. At the age of 2, while the family was on vacation in Italy, baby Gilbert was kidnapped by thieves. His father paid the £25 ransom, and the baby was thankfully returned.
Fist your board, and I'll be bound you find a dozen strangers round you. Hallo, cries the newborn baby, where's my parents, which may they be? Awkward silence, no reply, puzzled baby wonders why.
On May 13th, 1842, Arthur Seymour Sullivan was born in London. The Sullivans weren't anywhere near as well off financially, but the house was always filled with music and laughter. His father barely made a living as a pit musician in a London theater, but nevertheless, Sullivan's mother encouraged Arthur and his brother Fred to pursue careers in music as well.
Father rises, bows politely. Mother smiles, but not too brightly. Doctor mumbles like a dumb thing. Nurse is busy mixing something. Every symptom tends to show you're decidedly de trop.
Ho, 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 ho. Times teetotum, if you spin it, gives it quotum once a minute. I'll go bail you hit the nail, and if you fail, the deuce is in it.
Because his family was rich, like Beyonce amounts of cash, Gilbert got to attend the best schools. Sullivan didn't have enough money for school, but his talent won him scholarships for a bomb music education in Europe.
In 1867, Gilbert married Lucy Agnes Turner, and their marriage was filled with love and affection. Till the day he died, she would be his beloved Kitty. Why don't you ever call me Kitty?
I did. Don't you remember that first night on our honeymoon?
Dad, the kids! Around the time of Gilbert's marriage, Sullivan was enjoying a well-deserved reputation as a ladies' man. But he eventually fell in love with a woman named Rachel Scott Russell and pursued her relentlessly until she finally agreed to marry him. She imagined herself as the inspiration for symphonies, operas, concertos, and oratorios, and she eagerly pressed Sullivan to set the date of the wedding.
Now, Rachel's father was less than enthusiastic about having a musician in the family. Though Sullivan and Rachel's engagement was passionate, his playboy ways soon got the better of him. Rachel soon discovered that he was wooing not one, but two of her sisters.
Let's just say Sullivan never married.
You grow up and you discover what it is to be a lover. Some young lady is selected, poor perhaps but well connected, whom you have for love is blind as the queen of fairy kind. Ten years later, time progresses. How's your temper? Thins your tresses. Fancy then her chain relaxes. Rates are facts and so are taxes. Fairy queen's no longer young. Fairy queen has got a tongue.
Twins have probably intruded quite unbidden, just as you did. They're a source of care and trouble, just as you were only double. Comes at last the final stroke. Time has had his little joke.
Daily driven, wife is drover, ill you're thriven, ne'er clover. Lastly went through score and 10, and until then the joke is over. Daily driven, wife is drover, ill you're thriven, ne'er clover. Lastly went through score and 10, and until then the joke is over.
Ida, what do you think so far?
So, Gilbert and Sullivan are just two old dead guys?
Not just any old dead guys.
Hey, Grandma!
1869, Gilbert meets Sullivan.
Sullivan was already an established composer, and Gilbert had written a string of successful plays. They were introduced at the Royal Gallery Theatre by a mutual friend, Frederick Clay, but before Sullivan could say much more than...
Ah, good day, Mr. Gilbert. Ah, Mr. Sullivan, I am very pleased to meet you. Would you settle a question that has just arisen between Mr. Clay and myself? My contention is that when a musician who is master of many instruments has a musical theme to express, he can express it just as perfectly upon the simple tetrachord of Mercury. Disdiapason, which, I need not remind you, expresses in its... What do you think?
That's a nice point. May I get back to you on this?
Capital, old fellow. Do you really think he'll get back to me on that? If he was listening, he would have realized I was quoting dialogue from my own play. And even so, I copied the question word for word from the Encyclopedia Britannica.
Later, John Hollingshead, the owner of London's Gaiety Theatre, needed a new musical work for the Christmas season.
What could be better than to bring together the best young composer and the most popular young playwright to create a comic opera?
And so, without even knowing it, Mr. Hollingshead created G&S. Their first collab, Thespis, was a comedy about a troupe of Greek actors who take over Mount Olympus while the gods and goddesses go on vacation.
Thespis was lost after its short run, and no one has seen the whole show since. Only a few songs survived, including one of my personal favorites, The Little Maid of Arcady, which had been so popular that it was published as drawing room sheet music.
What even is a drawing room?
A room where you draw, duh.
Oh, Annie, don't tease your cousin. Honey, it's basically a living room.
Oh.
Little maid of Arcady sat on cousin Robin's knee, thought in the face and form and limb nobody could rival him. He was brave and she was fair, truth they made a pretty pair. Happy little maiden she, happy maid of Arcady. Happy little maiden she, happy maid of Arcady, happy maid of Arcady. Moments fled as moments will, have been enough, until after, say, a month or two, Robin did as Robins do, weary of his lover's play, jilted her and went away. Wretched little maiden she, wretched maid of Arcady, wretched maid of Arcady. To her little home she crept, there she sat her down and wept. Maiden wept as maidens will, grew so thin and pale until cousin Richard came to woo. Then again the roses grew. Happy little maiden she, happy maid of Arcady. Happy little maiden she, happy maid of Arcady, happy maid of Arcady.
Although they got along well enough, neither man expressed any interest in collaborating again. But one man who'd attended Thespis knew that he had seen the future. His name was...
Richard Doyley-Cart, theatrical manager and impresario.
How do you do, Mr. Cart?
Call me Richard. Mr. Gilbert, I believe you and Mr. Sullivan are just the pair I've been looking for. I can offer you a theatre to produce your work, if you can promise me a full house. I heard you already have a comedy in your pocket. Mr. Sullivan could set it to music. What do you think?
What do you think?
Good sir, it's brilliant.
Sullivan set to composing, and the entire piece was ready in less than 3 weeks. Trial by Jury opened in 1875 with Sullivan's brother, Fred, in the leading role of the judge.
When I, good friends, was called to the bar, I'd an appetite fresh and hearty, but I was as many young barristers are, an impecunious party. Had a swallow-tail coat of a beautiful blue, a brief which I bought of a booby, a couple of shirts and a collar or two, and a ring that looked like a ruby.
A couple of shirts and a collar or two, and a ring that looked like a ruby.
Westminster Hall I danced a dance like a semi-despondent fury, for I thought I never should hit on a chance of addressing a British jury. But I soon got tired of third-class journeys and dinners of bread and water, so I fell in love with the rich attorney's elderly, ugly daughter.
He fell in love with the rich attorney's elderly, ugly daughter.
The rich attorney, he jumped with joy, replied to my fond professions. You shall reap the reward of your pluck, my boy, at the Bailey and Middlesex sessions. You'll soon get used to a look, said he, and a very nice girl you'll find. She may very well pass for 43 in the dusk with the light behind her.
She may very well pass for 43 in the dusk with the light behind her.
The rich attorney was good as his word, the briefs came trooping gaily, and every day my voice was heard in the sessions or ancient bailey. All thieves who could my fees afford relied on my orations, and many a burglar I've restored to his friends and his relations.
And many a burglar he's restored to his friends and his relations.
At length I became as rich as the Guerneys, an incubus then I thought, so I threw over that rich attorney's elderly ugly daughter. The rich attorney my character high tried vainly to disparage. Yes, and now if you please I'm ready to try this breach of promise of marriage.
And now if you please he's ready to try this breach of promise of marriage.
For now I'm a judge.
And you're a judge too.
Yes, now I'm a judge.
And you're a judge too.
For woman I'll be fudge, yet I never, never bud, but I'll live or die judge.
And a good judge too.
It was managed by John.
And a good job too.
It was managed by John.
And a good job too.
It is patent to the mob that my being made a knob was effected by a job and a good job too.
Trial by Jury was an immediate hit. Within weeks, it seemed like everyone in London was singing the tunes.
D'Oyly Carte saw this as his chance to start an English school of light opera. After all, operetta was all the rage in France, and anything the French could do, surely the English could do better. So he rounded up a team of theatrical backers, signed Gilbert and Sullivan, took a lease on London's Opera Comique, and announced the formation of the Comedy Opera Company.
Gilbert and Sullivan began working on their next full-length opera, The Sorcerer. The title role was written for Sullivan's brother, who'd proven himself to be a talented patter baritone. But Fred, he died quite suddenly, leaving Sullivan reeling from the death of his only brother. Gilbert took the lead in searching for a new baritone to fill Fred's shoes.
My name is John Wellington Wells. I'm a dealer of magic and spells, in blessings and curses, and never filled purses, in prophecies, witches and knells. You want a proud boy to make proud. If you'd melt a rich uncle and what? You've got to look in on the resident in number 70 Cinematography. We've a first-rate assortment of magic, and for raising a posthumous shade, with effects that are comic or tragic, there's no cheaper house in the trade. They'll filter with quantities of it, and for knowledge if anyone burns, we're keeping a very small profit, a prophet who brings us unbounded returns. For he can prophesy with a wink of his eye, people security into futurity. Sum up your history, clear up a mystery, human proclivity, for a nativity, for a nativity. Here's answers oracular, bogey spectacular, tetrapods tragical, mirrors so magical, astronomical, solemn or comical, and if you want it, he makes a reduction on taking a quantity. Oh, if anyone anything lacks, you'll find it already in stocks. You'll only look in on the resident in number 70 Cimmeriacs. He can raise you hosts of ghosts, and that without reflectors, and creepy things with wings, and gaunt and grisly spectres. He can fill you crowds of shrouds, and horrify you vastly. He can rack your brains with chains, and gibberings grim and ghastly.
Then if humanity changes organity with an urbanity full of satanity, vexes humanity with an inanity, fatal to vanity, driving your foes to the verge of insanity. Potting tautology, demonology, electrobiology, missing astrology, spirit philology, high-class astrology, such as his knowledge, he isn't the man to require an apology. Oh! Name is John Wellington Wells, I'm a dealer of magic and spells, in blessings and curses and never-filled purses and prophecies, witches and bells. And if anyone anything lacks, he'll find it already in stacks, if he'll only look in on the resident in number 70 Simiacs.
Yes. So it's kind of like Lafayette's song from Hamilton. It's actually really cool because he's rapping like super fast about boring history stuff, but he makes it fun.
That's great, honey, but...
No, you're totally right, Ida. They're really similar. Hey, we should have a movie musical night this week. I'm thinking, Into the Woods?
Definitely. Let's do it.
Yay, awesome. Oh, sorry, I'm messing with the story. What happened next, Aunt Phoebes?
Well, pretty much right after the Sorcerer opened, plans began for a new opera set aboard the most famous ship before the Titanic.
I send you herewith the sketch plot for the new opera. I hope and I think you will like it. There is a good deal of fun in here that I have not yet got down on paper. Among other things, a song like the judge's song for the First Lord, tracing his career from office boy in a law firm, junior partner, to First Lord of the Admiralty, all by doing what? Absolutely nothing.
And so the work began on their new opera, HMS!
Sycamore. Swim ashore. No, that sounds as if the ship is sinking. It needs to rhyme with 3 cheers more.
Pinafore!
Pinafore! Ah! Capital!
Hey guys, did you know that during this time Gilbert was suffering from gout and Sullivan developed kidney stones, and the only known cure was to manually massage the kidney, crushing the stones so that they could pass, but instead the stones permanently lodged themselves into the lining of Sullivan's kidneys, leaving him in permanent, agonizing pain?
Why would anyone know that?
I just think that information will be important later. Carry on.
Okay. While working on Pinafore, their company of players began to grow. Among them was the distinguished young baritone Rutland Barrington, who just so happened to originate all of the leading baritone roles for Gilbert and Sullivan for many years, and of course the illustrious young Jessie Bond, mezzo-soprano extraordinaire, who was hired to play Cousin Hebe.
Mr. Gilbert, thank you for this prize part, but I simply cannot recall all my lines on the spot. There are far too many.
That's all right, dear. I will cut all of your lines except for...
And so do his sisters and his cousins and his aunts.
And the critics loved her. In fact, critics and audiences would continue to love Jessie Bond the rest of her career. HMS Pinafore set sail on the night of April 25, 1878. But it was far from smooth sailing. The producers of the Comedy Opera Company were a nervous bunch and continually threatened to close down the production when the box office didn't meet their expectations. Imagine their reaction when a heat wave struck London during the summer and the London public avoided all theatres. No air conditioning back then. Pinafore was playing to half-empty houses, and more to the point, losing money.
Well, that sounds familiar.
Sullivan took the wheel and changed the course of the good ship Pinafore. At one of his concerts at the Covent Garden Opera House, he included a medley of songs from Pinafore, which got several encores that night. A huge success. So he decided to play it at every single concert. Soon all of London knew the tunes and ticket sales were through the roof.
Never mind the why and wherefore, love can level ranks, and therefore, though your nautical relation in my set could scarcely pass, though you occupy a station in the lower middle class. Ring the merry bells on board ship, Brenia with warbling wild, for the union of my lordship with a humble captain's child.
For a humble captain's daughter.
For a gallant captain's daughter.
And a lord who rules the water.
And a tar who plows the water. Let the air with joy be maiden, breakfast on the air above, for the union of a maiden with the mountain love. Never mind the why and wherefore, love can level ranks, and therefore I admit the jurisdiction. Ably have you played your part. You have carried firm conviction to my hesitating heart.
Ring the merry bells on board ship, Brenia with warbling wild, for the union of my lordship with a humble captain's child.
For a humble captain's daughter.
For a gallant captain's daughter.
And a lord who rules the water.
And a tar who plows the water. Let the air with joy be laden.
Ring the merry bells on board ship.
For the union of a maiden.
For the union of my lordship.
Breakfast on the air above. For the men who want your love. Breakfast on the air above.
For the man
The producers who had been so eager to close Pinafore were now raking in the money, so much so that they made the decision to split with Gilbert and Sullivan and Doyley Cart and produce their own production of Pinafore.
They even sent a bunch of thieves to steal the scenery from the Opera Comique during the performance. There was this huge fight, like Empire versus the Rebel Force. But in the end, the thieves were beaten and thrown out of the theater.
And that was the end of the Comedy Opera Company.
So by the end of summer, HMS Pinafore had come to the US of A. Everyone knew the songs and everyone knew the jokes.
I've never heard the jokes.
What, never?
No, never.
What, never?
Well, hardly ever.
At one time, there were at least 8 companies performing productions of Pinafore, but they were all stolen versions.
They're pirating our Pinafore. Truly, it is difficult to understand a system that does not afford the composer of an opera the same rights as a man who invents a new kind of can opener.
Well, it's not that I mind losing the money so much, but it upsets my digestion.
Well, of course you wouldn't mind losing money, Mr. Gilbert. It's practically spilling from your ear canals already. And like some, I've had to work for everything I own. And I do not intend to let these vandals pilfer our profits. We must do something.
By God, I've got it!
Gilbert and Sullivan set sail to fight the pirates. The American theatrical pirates, that is. They arrived in New York with their own actors and the real Pinafore ready for its American debut.
And once audiences got a taste of the original, the imitators didn't stand a chance. Not only was it a grand hit, Gilbert and Sullivan immediately became members of New York's high society.
Around that time, Sullivan was introduced to a wealthy American divorcee, Mary Frances Ronalds, who became his best friend, confidant, and lover for many years.
Oh, aren't you two darling?
Time to begin phase 2 of the American invasion.
A new work to premiere in New York. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Lozenge!
Pirates!
Oh, yes, pirates.
Pirates? Oh, horror.
Oh, not terrifying pirates, madam, but soft-hearted pirates who love their queen.
As any good Englishman does.
Yes, yes. Hailing from that quaint city of Penzance.
Oh, I believe you meant Penzance, Mr. Gilbert.
Oh, Penzance! The pirates of Penzance!
Oh, how charming.
But then, disaster struck. Sullivan totally lost the sheet music for the first act of the show, and there was no time to find it before the New Year's Eve opening. So, he was forced to rewrite the entire thing from memory.
As the New Year's Eve deadline drew closer, there were even more problems. The orchestra decided they weren't being paid enough money.
That's so like a band.
Oh, Mr. Sullivan, don't you think we should be paid a higher rate seeing as this here is an opera?
Gentlemen, you give me too much honor. I am pleased that you regard our little work with such admiration. But I, in good conscience, cannot call this an opera. Nor can we afford to pay you that kind of salary. You are, of course, free to withdraw from the production. But I happen to know that the London Philharmonic would be happy to board the next ship bound for New York if I were merely to send them a wire.
You mean to import the London Philharmonic for this?
Until such time as they arrive, my assistant and I will just have to accompany the performances on piano and organ.
Gentlemen, you drive a hard bargain.
To think I could import the London Philharmonic? I can't believe he didn't call my bluff.
But another misfortune was on the horizon. While Gilbert and Sullivan had come to America to foil the American pirates, there were now English pirates to deal with.
And according to English law, if someone could mount a copycat production of Pirates in Britain before the real authors did, the copyright would go to them and Gilbert and Sullivan would lose all rights and royalties.
Seriously, why do pirates care so much about opera?
They weren't actual pirates.
I knew that.
Kids. So back in England, D'Oyly Carte's secretary and future wife Helen Lenore used a touring pinafore company to beat the system by rehearsing and performing Pirates for just one night, giving G&S the English premiere.
Which meant they got the performance rights and all the money. Boom! Oh, want to see something cool? This is my favorite part.
For the pirates, Jerry, fill the pirate glass.
Is this the one?
Dad, quit pressing buttons. That's pinafore.
When Frederick was a little
How do you get this thing to shut up?
I'm called.
You stop pressing the screen share button.
I am pressing the shield square button.
Better stop this old man.
For I am a pirate king. You are a pirate king. And it is a glorious thing to be a pirate king. It is the rock the pirate king, the rock the pirate king.
Now I see you all. Hiya, Sylvia.
Please, Grandpa, don't do that again.
Mom, can you make sure Dad doesn't touch the computer?
I'm going. Water! I told you a million times how to operate this thing. You're ruining this entire Zoom thing.
I didn't touch anything.
So, Ida, which did you like better, Pirates or Pinafore?
They both looked kind of cool, I guess. Wasn't Sutton Foster in that one? They were definitely tap dancing sailors. How'd they get the boat into the theater?
Well, that's the magic of theater, girl. But they still needed a bigger stage and more room for all of their
ideas.
So, Richard D'Oyley Carte built them their own stage, the Savoy Theatre, the first in the world actually to feature electric lights. Now, the whole world wasn't just coming to see their works, but their modern theater too.
What was their first show in the new theater again?
Patience, duh! Ugh, I would have kicked all your butts at trivia.
Oh, this one is my absolute favorite. Oh.
And why is that, Uncle Felix?
Well, you see...
His name is Oscar Wilde, gentlemen. A new client of mine. Good looks, charming intellect, and a gaggle of maidens who follow him everywhere. They call themselves his followers of beauty. What poppycock, can you imagine? Nevertheless, this fellow has given me quite the idea for your next operetta.
And what makes you so sure that this Oscar Wilde character is not just another quickly extinguished flame?
His prose, Mr. Sullivan, his prose. Take a look for yourself. I dare say no one has so great a command of the English language. Excepting you, of course, Mr. Gilbert.
If I were to be convinced that this dandy should be the subject of my next libretto, which I am not, how do you suppose he might be of use to us?
Well,
D'Oyley Carte, master businessman that he was, had already formulated a plan. Gilbert and Sullivan would write a new work about an attractive poet based on Wilde, who despite his large following of beautiful women, falls in love with an average milkmaid.
D'Oyley Carte then brought the finished score of Patience to Oscar, who immediately fell in love with the plot. Whether he knew it was not so subtly poking fun at him is up to debate. But what isn't is that he was so impressed with the pair that he agreed to go on a world tour to promote the show before the London premiere. By the time he returned to England 6 months later, everyone across the globe knew the name Oscar Wilde.
At the premiere of Patience, Oscar was seated in a prominently placed box.
According to the London Daily News, there was a fierce clamor of screams, yells, and hisses which descended from the gallery, signaling the arrival of Oscar Wilde himself. There, with the sacred daffodil, stood the exponent of uncut hair, Ajax-like, defying the gods! D'Oyley Carte's scheme had worked out far better than he could have ever imagined.
Your mother trapped me.
Oh, hush! What are we all talking about?
Oh, we just finished the part about Oscar Wilde and the Savoy Theatre.
Oh, Oscar. What a charmer that one was.
Okay. Anyway, it was time for Gilbert, Sullivan, and D'Oyley Carte to face the facts. And the fact was...
We're rich! We're richer! Well, I was already rich.
Each one now earned an average income of £10,000 a year, twice the salary of Prime Minister Gladstone.
Gilbert indulged himself in multiple yachts and a beautiful new home for Kitty. Sullivan used his newfound wealth to live his best life, traveling extensively and moving about in high society. He hobnobbed with the Prince of Wales and the Duke of Clarence, and lost large amounts of money at the roulette tables of Monte Carlo.
Dear Sullivan, my telephone is fixed and in working order. They are fixing one at the theatre, and it will be finished this week. I am hard at work on the new piece and hope that you are too.
But Sullivan's life of pleasure collapsed in the span of one telegram. His beloved mother was seriously ill and near death. He rushed back to London, but he was too late.
Sullivan sought comfort in his music, as he had also done at the time of his brother Fred's death. He threw himself into his work and began creating the next opera, a sharp political satire about a banished mother, who also happened to be a fairy, who was sending her son into Parliament. You can imagine it must have hit pretty close to home for him.
The new opera, Parola, was announced and rehearsals started immediately. It wasn't until 24 hours before opening night that Sullivan called the company together to tell them,
Ladies and gentlemen, up until now, you have been rehearsing an opera entitled Parola. From now on, the title of the work and the character described will be Iolanthe. Please, substitute the name wherever it be necessary throughout the performance.
But Mr. Sullivan, how will we ever remember? What if we forget her name?
Then just use any name that comes to mind. No one will know the difference except Gilbert, and he won't be here.
Which of course was true. Gilbert's opening night nerves were legendary, to say the least. On almost all of them, he paced up and down the Thames until it was time for his curtain call. This left Sullivan managing the rigors of opening night alone.
To make matters worse, as Sullivan was about to leave his home to conduct the premiere of Iolanthe, he was handed a telegram. Sullivan's brokers had filed for bankruptcy. With the collapse of his investments and his own high-flying lifestyle, he was effectively broke. That evening, as Sullivan stepped into the orchestra pit amid the usual applause and took up his baton, he did so with a grim understanding. Iolanthe had to be a success.
When Iolanthe finished, there was time for everyone to take a breath, relax a bit, and enjoy some self-care.
Being knighted at the age of 49 was a great honour, but while Arthur Sullivan had become Sir Arthur, Gilbert remained Mr. Gilbert. Gilbert didn't let grass grow under his feet, however, and he immediately set out to create a new opera.
You see, it is about a magic lozenge, or a magic pill, if you will, and whoever takes the pill can become who they want to be. You see, a thief can become a priest, and the village idiot can become a professor, and a peasant girl can become a great lady. Oh, it really should be awfully funny.
Not a chance.
After Sullivan's complete refusal to compose the music for Gilbert's magic lozenge plot, Gilbert revised an earlier work he had written years earlier. Princess Ida!
Wait, Princess Ida?
We may have been inspired when we were naming you.
A princess?
And a strong warrior princess at that.
Rehearsals were long and taxing, and Sullivan's health suffered. The day before their premiere, he was struck by an agonizing attack of
kidney stones
and was bedridden, unable to move.
Ha! Told you guys that would be important.
This would be the first G&S opera ever to open without Sullivan at the podium, but it was obvious he couldn't be there. D'Oyly Card arranged for Sullivan's friend and fellow conductor Francois Cellier to conduct instead.
But at 5 o'clock that afternoon, Sullivan managed to drag himself out of bed. He was determined to conduct. He got dressed and ran to the theater as quick as he could. Surprised at Sullivan's sudden appearance, the audience welcomed him with thunderous applause as he took his place in the pit and lifted his baton.
Mr. Gilbert, I am concerned for Sir Arthur's appearance.
Sullivan's appearance is of no concern to me whatever. It is his disappearance that one could not bear.
That's how the mole fell off.
Wait. What happened to Sullivan? Was he okay?
Sweetheart, weren't you listening?
Please go back.
All right, if you insist. Where did we lose you?
Sullivan collapsed.
Oh, yes. He was fine. Oh, okay. Sullivan spent weeks bedridden and recovering from his collapse.
With all that time to think about his life and work, Sullivan decided to write to Mr. D'Oyly Carte, telling him he wouldn't write any more comic operas. Then he left England for France to continue recovering. But within 3 months, audiences for Princess Ida were drying up, and in March 1884, D'Oyly Carte wrote back to Sullivan.
The business here, as you will have observed, is showing signs of dropping off. By our contract, I have to give you 6 months' notice in case of a new opera being required. Will you please accept this note as fulfilling the required formality? I am sending a duplicate of this letter to Gilbert. I have the honor to be your obedient servant, R. D'Oyly Carte.
Gilbert, meanwhile, had already sent them a new libretto.
It's about this magic pill, or lozenge, if you will, and anyone who swallows the pill becomes anyone he pretends to be. Oh, it's really very funny.
Dear Gilbert, I am obliged to reject the subject. The lozenge plot is too much like The Sorcerer. It is going back to the elements of topsy-turvydom, which I had hoped we had now done away with.
My dear Sullivan, your reflections on the character of the libretti with which I have supplied you have caused me considerable pain. I cannot suppose that you have intended to gall and wound me when you wrote as you did.
My dear Gilbert, I will be quite frank. I have come to the end of my tether. My tunes are in danger of becoming mere repetitions of my former pieces. My music is never allowed to arise and speak for itself.
My dear Sullivan, anxious as I am and always have been to give due weight to your suggestions, the time has come when I must state, and I do so with great reluctance, that I cannot consent to construct another plot for another opera.
My dear Gilbert, the tone of your letter convinces me that your decision is final, and therefore further discussion is useless.
Things had grown awfully rocky between the pair.
Here's a pretty mess.
Here's a state of things.
In point of fact, here was a howdy-do!
Okay, Mom. Let's get back to the story, please. Back to the story, thank you. I loved it. Mwah.
Gilbert retired to his study. Frustrated, he paced back and forth until his heavy footsteps dislodged a decorative Japanese sword from the wall.
An idea began to form. Japan was all the rage in London, and he envisioned a Japanese village, girls in kimonos, and a man carrying an executioner's sword.
Wait, 2 white English guys wrote a story about Japanese people?
Well, it was set in Japan, but it was really making fun of England and how prudish everyone was.
Well, why set it in Japan then? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. A picturesque treatment?
Still, it feels kind of weird having English people dress up as Japanese people to make fun of English people.
Yeah. Isn't there another way? Ooh, how about setting it in a hotel? Or underwater? Or indoor? Or the moon?
I saw the land on the moon.
Well, I suppose resetting it doesn't really change the story.
What's the story anyway?
A topsy-turvy love triangle, or love square, really. But the penalty for flirting is death. My dear Sullivan, you would be first on the chopping block.
Let me see that. A love triangle with the Lord High Executioner?
Of course. It's titillating. Oh, the public always flocks to that sort of thing.
In Japan?
Why not?
No fairies. No lozenges. Mr. Gilbert, you have outdone yourself, sir.
But why do we have to change it? It's just tradition.
Felix, there are far more creative ways to tell this story.
How about something like this? Hit it, girls!
Three little maids from school are we, bright as a schoolgirl well can be, filled to the brim with girlish glee. Three little maids from school, everything is a source of fun. Nobody safe, but we care for none. Life is a joke that's just begun. Three little maids from school.
I've definitely heard this one before.
Three little maids who all unwary come from the ladies' seminary, free from its genius tutelary. Three little maids from school. Three little maids from school. One little maid is a fish, that's me. Two little maids in a tendency. Three little maids with girlish glee. Three little maids from school. From three little maids take one away. Two little maids remain and they won't have to wait very long, they say. Three little maids from school. Three little maids who all unwary come from the ladies' seminary, free from its genius tutelary. Three little maids from school. Three little maids from school.
You three cracked me up. That was wonderful.
Okay, I'm obsessed now. Give me Three Little Maids in space.
See how easy that was? The setting sucks, but the music was so catchy that it became the pair's most popular show.
672 performances, a new record for us. You must be thrilled to once again be able to finance your gallivanting through Europe. I am happy to see our partnership was not beneath you.
You never change. Topsy-turvydom as always. Mr. Gilbert.
If they hated each other so much, why did they keep doing shows together?
Well, it was a real group effort. Men aren't always great at expressing their feelings.
Listen to your mother, Princess.
Hey now, speak for yourself.
I'm staying out of this one.
So they were able to write another show together?
Well, they wrote Redagore next, but that really doesn't matter.
My eyes are fully open to my altered situation. I shall go at once to Roderick and make him an oration. I shall tell him I've recovered my forgotten moral senses, and it won't be tough to take me for any consequences. No, I do not want to perish by the sword or by the dagger, but to want to may indulge in his pardonable swagger. A word or two of compliment, my vanity would flatter, but I've got to die tomorrow, so it really doesn't matter.
So it really doesn't matter. So it really doesn't matter.
So it really doesn't matter.
So it really doesn't matter. So it really doesn't matter.
If I were not a little mad and generally silly, I should give you my advice upon the subject willy-nilly. I should show you in a moment how to grapple with the question, and you'd really be astonished at the force of my suggestion. On the subject, I shall write you a most valuable letter full of excellent suggestions when I feel a little bit. For the present, I'm afraid I am as mad as any hand, so I'll keep it to myself, for my opinion doesn't matter.
Her opinion doesn't matter.
Her opinion doesn't matter.
Her opinion doesn't matter.
Her opinion doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter.
Her opinion doesn't matter. Her opinion doesn't matter. If I had been so lucky as to have a steady brother who could talk to me as we are talking now to one another, who could give me good advice when I discovered I was heading with just a bit of favor, which I knew I am pathetic. My senses would have made a rather interesting idyll, and I might have lived and died a very decent individual. Particularly rapid, unintelligible patter isn't generally heard, and if it isn't, doesn't matter.
If it is, it doesn't matter, matter. If it is, it doesn't matter, matter. This particularly rapid and intelligible pattern isn't generally heard, and if it is, it doesn't matter. This particularly rapid and intelligible pattern isn't generally heard, and if it is, it doesn't matter.
Oh, I just got carried away.
It's pretty safe to say Ruddigore wasn't everyone's favorite. It was quickly replaced by a revival of HMS Pinafore.
Did someone say Pinafore?
Dad! Don't make me kick you out of here. Anyway, Ruddigore had been such a flop that the two men knew their next show had to be a game changer.
I have got the plot of a new piece pretty well combed out. It is quite a consistent and effective story, without anachronisms or bathos of any kind. I hope you will like it.
No topsy-turvy-dum. Very human. But very funny also.
A few days later, Sullivan conducted a command performance of his oratorio, The Golden Legend, which had been written for Queen Victoria. Afterward, he was summoned before Her Royal Majesty.
My dear Sir Arthur, at last I have heard your lovely oratorio. You should really write a grand opera. You would do it so well.
Your Majesty, it would be the highest honor. I've always aspired to more than dabbling in Mr. Gilbert's fanciful libretti.
And so, Sullivan simultaneously prepared a new operetta with Gilbert and began working on his own grand opera, Ivanhoe. But Gilbert's relentless nagging to finish their joint project first eventually wore him down.
The opening night of Yeoman of the Guard was shocking. Drama, deception, disgrace, and death. God, I wish I could have been there. It was brand new territory for the pair, and Sullivan was so happy with the results.
Instead of the usual opening chorus, the curtain rose on a single young lady seated at a spinning wheel, singing a simple, somewhat melancholic song.
When maiden loves, she sits and sighs, she wanders to and fro. Unbidden teardrops fill her eyes, and to all questions she replies with a sad hey-ho. 'Tis but a little word, hey-ho, so soft 'tis scarcely heard, hey-ho, an idle breath, yet life and death may hang upon a maid's hey-ho. An idle breath, yet life and death may hang upon a maid's hey-ho.
They love my libretto.
They love my score.
Yeoman brought Gilbert and Sullivan to their breaking point. After 11 years and 8 operettas together, which was more important, words or music?
Money. It's all about the money.
The London Illustrated News. Mr. W.S. Gilbert has returned to the Gilbert of the past, and everyone is delighted. The Gilbert who on Saturday night was cheered till the audience was weary of cheering any more.
Sullivan left the country to clear his mind in Venice. When he returned a few short months later, he was met by D'Oyly Carte, who urged him to let bygones be bygones and continue the working relationship for the sake of the company. Sullivan very reluctantly agreed.
It just so happened that Gilbert had been working on a new plot.
It's about a magic lozenge. No!
The story was actually based on Gilbert's kidnapping as a toddler. It was super different from Yeoman, and even though they personally weren't happy with each other, The Gondoliers is definitely the most joyful of all the G&S operettas.
Then one of us will be a queen and sit on a golden throne, with a crown instead of a hat on her head and diamonds all her own, with a beautiful robe of gold and green I've always understood. I wonder whether she'd wear a feather. I rather think she should. Oh, she's a glorious thing, I mean to be a regular royal queen. Oh, half and half affair, I mean, oh, half and half affair. Oh, direct and regular royal queen.
She'll drive about in a carriage and pair with a king on her left-hand side, and a milk-white horse as a matter of course whenever she wants to ride, with beautiful silver shoes to wear upon her dainty feet, with endless stocks of beautiful frocks, and as much as she wants to eat.
Oh, 'tis a glorious thing, I mean to be a regular royal queen. Oh, half and half affair, I mean, oh, half and half affair. Oh, direct and regular royal queen. Oh, 'tis a glorious thing, I mean to be a regular royal queen. Oh, right down, regular royal queen.
What happened to Sullivan's other opera?
Well, he wrote it and produced it and even dedicated it to the Queen. And it wasn't long before the Queen called for a command performance at Windsor Castle of
The Gondoliers!
How delightful. Things may have looked like they were turning around for everyone, but that's kind of like saying Alderaan was doing great before the Death Star showed up.
I demand a new partnership agreement.
On what basis?
On this basis. £4,500 for the new production of The Gondoliers, and that's just the preliminary expenses. This seemed so utterly unaccountable that I asked your secretary to see the details. £500 on new carpets for the front of the house.
Mr. Gilbert, you of all people should know that it takes money to make money. Those carpets were horrendous, a constant eyesore. They had to go. You and Mr. Sullivan cannot possibly understand what it takes to run this theatre. In fact, the only alteration to our agreement that I will accept is an annual rent increase for the Savoy at £5,000 instead of £4,000. If this arrangement is dissatisfactory to you, however, you have only to say so.
Well, I say so.
Very well, then. You write no more for the Savoy Theatre. That is understood.
Very well, then. But you would well remember it is a mistake to kick down the ladder by which you have risen.
Sullivan tried to remain neutral, thinking the feud would blow over quickly. But when it became clear there was no easy resolution, he chose to side with Doyleycart.
Gilbert, feeling hurt and betrayed, took both of his partners to court. After months of back and forth, the case was finally settled out of court. Gilbert came out on top financially, but no one really won. After what was a huge public embarrassment, the three could never work together comfortably again. The golden days of Gilbert and Sullivan were officially over.
It would be over a year before Gilbert's conscience finally led him to attempt to make up with his estranged business partners.
Madam, you'll no doubt be surprised at receiving a letter from me, and still more surprised when you find that it is an overture of reconciliation. I propose that we should all withdraw the angry expressions which, under the influence of strong irritation, we may have used, and generally look upon bygones as having gone by. I am faithfully yours, W.S.G. Oh, Richard, hasn't there been enough of this foolishness? It seems Mr. Gilbert is eager to put this nasty business behind us. Why must you persist in holding such a grudge? If you will not put aside your pride for the sake of your work, then, for the sake of your family, we both know Mr. Gilbert and Mr. Sullivan's work is the only thing keeping this theatre financially solvent. What happens when we can't put food on the table, Richard?
My dear Helen, in another life you would have made a fine attorney. Very well, I will relent, but only if Mr. Sullivan is as agreeable. I will write to him immediately.
While Sullivan was disgusted with the way Doyleycart and Gilbert handled themselves during the trial, he was most upset by the destruction of their public image as an unshakable team.
I am physically and mentally ill over this wretched business. I have not yet got over the shock of seeing our names coupled, not in brilliant collaboration over a work destined for worldwide celebration, but in hostile antagonism over a few miserable pounds.
I have found it quite difficult this past year not to be able to call on you when inspiration has struck. I have been scribbling down fresh ideas so quickly. I have ink stains on my fingers, like some common quill driver. As you can imagine, Kitty finds it all quite amusing. But in any case...
Is this an attempt at an apology, Mr. Gilbert?
I suppose it is, Mr. Sullivan.
Topsy-turvy-tum as always, my good sir. I accept.
Everyone agreed it was time to put this whole mess behind them. They signed a new contract and went back to work.
Utopia Limited, or The Flowers of Progress, was the second to last collaboration between Gilbert and Sullivan, and opened in 1893 at the Savoy. It had been more than 2 years since Gondoliers had closed, and despite attempts by both men to make the best of the situation, things would never go back to normal.
At the end of the opera, Gilbert gave the character Princess Zara a speech that shook the audience.
I don't understand. There's something wrong. Oh, we must have omitted something.
That's all very well, but...
Of course. I had forgotten. Government by party. Introduce that great and glorious element, and all will be well. No political measures will endure, because one party will assuredly undo all that the other party has done.
That sounds like something Mom would yell at the TV. What happened to that show?
I mean, it wasn't their best work. It was long, it was full of plot holes. Gilbert really tried too hard with the satire, and Sullivan did not help.
If it were not for me, you would still be attempting to entertain audiences with that damned lozenge story.
And if not for me, you would have no audiences at all. You'd be a penniless musician just like your father.
I will not stand here and listen to you insult my good name. Call on me only when you have regained your senses.
Gilbert and Sullivan's final work was The Grand Duke. It's a bit underground. You've probably never even heard of it.
I have. It's about an acting troupe that takes political power and they use
great.
eating
Way
a
to
sausage
jump on
roll
the
to prove that they're in a
bandwagon.
secret
Okay,
club,
I
Annie.
swear.
It's not just yours.
Girl, it was really tense getting it produced. I mean, they literally never spoke about it in person. The entire show was written through the mail. It premiered at the Savoy on March 7th, 1896, the last opening night for the team of Gilbert and Sullivan.
By the mystic regulation of a dark association, ere you open conversation with another kindred soul, you must eat a sausage roll.
You must eat a sausage roll, a sausage roll.
If in turn he eats another, that's a sign that he's a brother. Each may fully trust the other. It is quaint and it is droll, but it's bilious on the whole. It's a greasy kind of pasty, which perhaps a judgment hasty might consider rather tasty. Once to speak without disguise, it found favor in our eyes.
It found favor in our eyes.
But when you've been 6 months feeding, as we have on this succeeding, bilious food, it's no your breeding, if at these repulsive pies are offended gorgeous eyes. By the mystic regulation of a dark association, and you open conversation with another kindred soul, you must eat a sausage roll.
You must eat a sausage roll, a sausage roll,
a sausage roll, a sausage roll, roll the roll, a sausage roll, a sausage roll.
I've tallied the receipts, and I must say, Mr. Sullivan, that this is by far the worst showing we have seen at the Savoy in many years. As difficult as it has been for me to make this decision, I have decided to terminate yours and Mr. Gilbert's contracts. I do hope you understand.
Wait, that's it? They really never made another show together?
I'm afraid not, honey. Sometimes even the best partnerships run their course.
But even though they never wrote together again, they still went on to do some pretty cool stuff with other people.
Yeah, after the Last Jedi-sized catastrophe that was the Grand Duke, Sullivan decided he really had to lean into the whole serious artist bit. He even wrote a ballet for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, which was like a huge hit with Her Majesty.
And Gilbert had particular success with an operetta called The Mountebanks.
You see, it was about a magic lozenge, or in this case a magic potion, and anyone who drinks the potion becomes whoever he pretends to be. It was really very funny.
I knew that sounded like a good story.
But all good stories must come to an end, kiddo. And if you ask me, the end of Sullivan's story came far too quickly. He'd never been a particularly healthy man, but in 1900, just 4 years after his final collaboration with Gilbert, things took a turn for the worst. While he was lying in bed with a serious case of pneumonia, he wrote one last entry in his diary.
A lovely day. I hate to leave such a lovely day.
I hear the soft note of the evergreen voice of an old love long dead. It whispers my sorrowing heart rejoice, for the last sad tear is shed. The pain that is all but a pleasure will change, for the pleasure that's all but pain. And never, never our hearts will range from that old love again. Yes, the pain that is all but a pleasure will change, for the pleasure that's all but pain. And never, never our hearts will range from that old love again. Oh, never, hearts will range. Oh, never, hearts will range from that old love
I can't imagine how hard Gilbert must have taken it when he heard the news. I mean, Sullivan was only 58.
I don't know, Dad sounds pretty old to me.
Watch it there, Missy.
We might not know how Gilbert felt about his old, time-honored friend's passing, but we do know that he eventually got the public recognition he'd always longed for.
Arise, Sir William S. Gilbert.
Wait, wasn't Queen Victoria already dead for 6 years?
Shh, honey, let me have my moment.
Thank you, Your Majesty. It is truly an honor. I only wish Sir Arthur Sullivan were here to see this. Oh, how it would have twisted his moustache to witness this day.
What a loss this country has suffered. And, if I do say so, quite a personal loss as well. I ardently adored Sir Arthur. Such a charming and intelligent man, and what inspired music he produced. Surely we will not see the likes of him again in our lifetime.
Surely not. He was truly one of a kind.
What will you do now, Sir William? Another comic operetta, perhaps?
No. I do not think the form holds a place for me any longer. I've searched high and low, but a Gilbert is of no use without a Sullivan, and I cannot find one.
Less than a year after Sullivan died, Doyleycart also passed away, and Gilbert was now adrift at sea. With his life's work completed and his longtime partners gone, he decided to retire to the countryside and live out the rest of his days with his wife, Kitty.
Their golden years were bliss, but like your grandfather said, every good story comes to an end. On May 29th, 1911, two young girls were swimming in a lake near Gilbert's home when he heard a cry for help. One of the girls was drowning. Gilbert rushed into the water to save her. He lifted the girl onto shore, but then felt a pain in his chest. There was nothing anyone could do. With his final act, he sank beneath the water.
What do you think, Sir Arthur?
It is wonderful, Sir William.
If anyone's to thank for us remembering Gilbert and Sullivan's work today, it's Helen Doyleycart. She became head of the Doyleycart Opera Company after Richard's death, preserving their stories for future generations. All in all, the Doyleycart family produced and protected the works of Gilbert and Sullivan for over 100 years.
And without their music, who knows if we would have had shows like Oklahoma or Wicked or even Dear Evan Hansen. They basically set the stage for the future of musical theater.
Even Lin-Manuel Miranda, he references G&S and Hamilton. Now, I'm the very model of a
Modern Major General. Whoa, that's actually really cool. I never noticed. I never thought anything that old could actually be fun. I really like how they were using music to talk about real stuff people were going through. Mom, can we watch one of their shows?
Absolutely, sweetheart. As soon as it's safe to go back to the theaters. But for now, I think there's some of their records in the living room.
And that, my dear, is the story of your great-great-grandfathers.
Really?
No!
Who's got next week?
Not me.
I want it.
Bingo!
Ida, we're still on for a movie musical night, right?
Definitely, I'll text you.
Oh shoot, it's getting late. I gotta go, everybody. I love you. See you next week.
Yeah, we should probably go too. It's almost dinner time.
Please. No more hot dogs.
Good night. I love you all very much.
Good night, Grandpa. Love you.
Good night.
I love you.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Annie.
Have a good flight. Bye, Grandma. Bye.
Bye.